Tell the people what's going on. My name is Nigel Lavondrius Moon, and I'm bringing you the latest in book community drama. Huh? Nigel, you gonna tell them what's going on? Tell them what's popping. You're fired, Nigel. Can you sit down, please? You were already in the video and you didn't do a good job. You didn't tell the people the tea. So now I've got to do it. I mean, I gave you a chance, dude. What do you want? Not giving you treats, you didn't even do your job. Yeah, you didn't try hard enough. Hey, hi, hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess, and today I'm here to bring you another installment of Book CommuniTEA, where I try to keep you abreast of the goings-on in the book community. But first, of course, I want to say please vote. We are down to the wire, a few weeks left, so please get out and vote if you can vote early or drop off your ballot, whatever. If you're an American citizen, just do it. Today is one of those days where I'm very frustrated with filming on my phone. Some days it's fine, and some days I really wish I had a camera. So if you film, so if you're a fellow YouTuber, booktuber, and you have any affordable recommendations for a filming camera, if you could leave it down below, I'd really appreciate it. Anyway, let's get into the video. There's a couple topics to go over this week. Nothing like huge, or I don't think so, but a few things going on in the Twitter sphere predominantly. So the first thing, pretty small, and it's nothing confirmed, but I did see there were rumors of Cinder being adapted, and what I saw was a tweet that said Cinder better be Asian and Winter better be a dark-skinned black girl in the adaptation of the Lunar Chronicles. So there is no confirmation. Someone in the comments said she's discussing it with the studio, but my advice would not be to get any significant hopes up. This is the fourth studio she's talked about it with across a few years. So it's not confirmed, but I had seen this a few weeks ago. Someone, I guess on TikTok, made a video about it too. So I mean, I would watch it. I enjoyed the Lunar Chronicles when I read them, but I can't remember if I would think of Cinder as a black girl. Someone else said they pictured Cinder as being Middle Eastern. I don't remember, but I just thought that was interesting and that would be fun. I mean, a lot of books being adapted into movies and TV shows recently, so it is totally possible that that could be coming in the near future. So I just thought that was interesting. So next, I saw some tweets about fan fiction being real literature, and I guess someone was saying it wasn't. So I found the original tweet, I think, and someone said the fic writing process is absolutely nowhere near writing your own stories, and that 70K slow burn fic is not literature and you are a grown adult. And then they said everyone in the replies and quote retweets trying to tell me otherwise. I literally don't care. And I'm a fucking English major too, so don't even start, my God. So then that started people's replies about fan fiction. Someone said, is fan fiction literature debate is annoying and pointless, but it's so funny to me that people frame it as fanfic is mostly garbage, unlike real literature, as if the vast majority of real published books aren't also complete garbage. I wouldn't say vast majority, but yeah, I get it. I myself have not read that much fan fiction. I'm kind of ashamed. I've only read one and I haven't even finished it. But if you have any fan fiction recommendations you think I would like, definitely leave them in the comments. And actually, oh my God, I was gonna say don't because then I'm gonna get distracted, but just leave them in the comments. Who knows? Maybe I'll give them a whirl. Some are short, some are long, but I think it's obviously real writing. Like, they're writing it, and some of them are so good that I've heard. The one I was reading was amazing. I mean, it was like multiple books worth of writing they did for free. But someone else said people who hate fan fiction have clearly never read a good 150K slow burn fanfic with seemingly unrequited pining and unintentional bed sharing and unlock the secret to true happiness, and it shows. Yeah, I don't that's so funny. The English major, being like, I'm an English major, so I'm right. So this person said English majors belittling fanfic does nothing but prove they're going to be horrible writers and are learning nothing but elitism in their degree programs. And, you know, I wouldn't say I know they're going to be horrible writers, but yeah, that's a crappy way to look at it. Fan fiction. Look look where it got, what's her name from last week? Anna Todd. She got published from writing fan fiction. Not like I consider that fan fiction great fiction, but nevertheless, fan fiction is literature. It is legitimate writing. It's amazing. So if you write fan fiction, keep it up and don't let these salty ass English majors get you down. So Sabaa Tahir, who is the author of the Ember Quartet, so the first book, and Ember in the Ashes, which I haven't read yet. I have the third book, A Reaper at the Gates. Don't ask why I only have the third one, but it is a series I want to read probably next year. It is a YA fantasy series, and the final book is coming out this month, November. Soon. It's coming out soon. And so Fairy Loot came out with a special edition set of the books. I was going to say box, but it's not a box. It's just a set of the 4 books, and they're super pretty, of course, that you can buy in honor of the series being completed. And so Sabaa posted, an absolute honor to be working with Fairy Loot to do special editions of the An Ember in the Ashes Quartet. For years, Fairy Loot has been such a huge supporter of this series, and we have been working towards this for a while. I cannot emphasize enough how much work and care the Fairy Loot team put into these editions. Many of you have asked me if Sky will have any special edition boxes. This is the only one. Quantities are very limited. I could only sign so many books, but please see Fairy Loot's feed for all the deets. You can scroll through here and see a detailed version of each book, and they look beautiful. But what came up was that this is the only one. The tweets I saw were, this is the only box. There's so much I want to say about this specific series having so many boxes and so much merch. But for my own sake this morning, I'm not going to. And then someone else said, the only one, like, wow, the disrespect. Sabaa Tahir deserves better, but no. Y'all wanted to give us 5 Bardugo special editions, 8 Holly Black ones, and countless Red Rising books. I mean, there's no lie. There's no lie being told. I don't know how many. I mean, there are at least a couple for King of Scars. I know, were there boxes for Ninth House? I don't remember. There's always boxes, I swear. So many boxes and editions for The Cruel Prince. But yeah, it's disheartening because she obviously is a woman of color and she just has that one. I've heard about An Ember in the Ashes for years. It is a pretty popular series and it's coming to an end, and it's just like, why is this the only box? And I think it's just the books. I don't think there's like a box with like bookish items. Also, I think maybe in my total bookish online life, I've gotten 2 or 3 boxes. I think Owl Crate was the worst. Like, it was just so basic. But most of the time when I see people unbox their Owl Crates and all these various boxes, I don't ever remember seeing items in those boxes that relate to An Ember in the Ashes. And I could be wrong, obviously. I can't remember every box, but it's predominantly Sarah J. Maas items, even if the story has nothing to do with her books, or loosely. There's, you know, Throne of Glass or ACOTAR inspired items, Six of Crows inspired items. Obviously, a ton of people were doing Harry Potter inspired items until recently. But like, there was the same fandoms recycled over and over in these boxes, and it's just a shame that from what I've heard, a great series is coming to an end and it's not being shown more love. But those editions are beautiful. I'm sure they will sell out, and from people who have similar reading tastes to me, they think I would enjoy the books. So anyway, that's just sad, but it's the way of our world, sadly, that typically the white authors will obviously be promoted and hyped more than authors of color. It's just the truth. Don't love that for us. No. Some publishing news that James Patterson Presents, which one is it? Whatever, is no more. So James Patterson, I'm sure you all have seen his books in some grocery store aisle or whatever. That's what, before I read adult books, like a long time ago in high school, I was like, I don't want to read adult books, like, because I thought they were just Nora Roberts and James Patterson books that I saw in the grocery store. Like, no shade to if you read those books. I have one James Patterson book on my shelf, but I think it was probably written by the person whose name is smaller than James Patterson. But anyway, him, who have all these books and all this money, had created an imprint, Jimmy Patterson Presents, or is it James Patterson Presents? Maybe I should learn the right word before I start talking. It says Jimmy Patterson Books. is gone. And it presented a lot of young adult books and some diverse authors. And now it's dissolving or closed or whatever you want to call it. And they didn't even make a formal announcement. One of the authors or editors who worked at the imprint basically, you know, was a whistleblower. So the tweet was, and there were 3 tweets and I only screenshotted one like an idiot, and now their account is private. But anyway, the tweet said, well, looks like there won't be an official announcement, so here we go. The Jimmy imprint is heading in a different direction, and the presents list has come to an end. The imprint will no longer be acquiring and will only publish children's books by James Patterson. So he himself is now only going to publish his own children's books because that's what the world needs. And so, you know, there were tweets about that. Because someone said Jimmy Patterson Books is closing and will only publish his own fiction going forward, but the imprint made its name on the works of marginalized stories like Girls of Paper and Fire and Once and Future. There was no formal announcement, so editors had to announce it themselves. So I just, someone tweeted, just because I've seen this question a lot today, the contracted Jimmy books will still be published. And then I know, so the author of Girls of Paper of Fire, I believe, Natasha Nagan, is she tweeted, as far as I was told, the imprint is closing. Twitter seems to suggest otherwise, but whatever's going on, me and the girls books will be going to another imprint within Little Brown, which means that Girls of Fate and Fury will be published. So she doesn't know when, but her books will still be published under a different imprint. So I wonder if that will happen with all kind of books, because I think Carrie Maniscalco, her like Hunting Prince Dracula or whatever, those books were published under that imprint, and I think she just had a new one come out. So it'll be interesting to see where those authors go, and hopefully they all find a home, because that's really distressing. And I hope they at least were notified before, and it just wasn't like you try to call your editor and they're like, oh, we don't exist anymore, we're not publishing your book. Hopefully it wasn't like that, but that just seems really sad. And why, especially in a pandemic, my favorite response of the year. But it just seems like, why? Because someone said on Twitter that they weren't doing as well, or maybe it was probably financial things because, you know, money runs the world. And maybe, but I don't know. I felt like those books, at least the ones I've mentioned, were pretty popular and I've seen everywhere. And also it's James Patterson and he has a fuck ton of money. He has millions. So I know his money is separate from the imprint's money, but I'm just saying, if you cared about keeping these authors and keeping this imprint going, you could probably funnel in some money to keep it afloat. I'm not an economics major, what do I know? But that's sad. And then also on the theme of publishing, I didn't see much about this, but it said Simon Pulse was being absorbed into Simon & Schuster under a different imprint. And I never heard of Simon Pulse, but I guess they published like teen fiction. I saw this recently, but then the article that was linked was from May. So I guess there's just been a lot of shifting around in publishing this year. And it's just really unfortunate about the Jimmy Patterson thing. And I, for one, know I don't want to read any of his children's books that he writes. No, thank you. Okay, so the next was a bit of author drama on Twitter. So someone tweeted at S.E. Hinton, who is the author of The Outsiders, which is considered a modern classic, I think. And they said, please consider writing a graphic novel version of The Outsiders. My students love your novel, and I know I could engage more readers who are reluctant and striving with a graphic novel version. Thank you. I think I cut it off. I'm sorry. And so S.C. Hinton quote tweeted the tweet and said, no. The Outsiders is the first book many people read in their life, and it shows them they can read a book, not that they can turn the pages on a graphic novel. And Twitter went boom. So I guess that is the big one of the week, even though I didn't put it last. My bad. But so I have read The Outsiders. I read it in middle school, and I've always loved it. I've reread it. I haven't recently. I also loved the movie. And so that was just really disappointing to see. And so, of course, many people had their opinions. One tweet was, as a librarian, I'm pissed by this comment. Graphic novels are just as valid as any other work of literature, and they actually help kids transition from picture books to chapter books. They are also great reads for reluctant readers. SMH, the ignorance. And then Angie Thomas said, graphic novels are novels. I don't give a crap what kind of format a kid reads in as long as a kid reads. And then someone, S.E. Hinton, bashing graphic novels is such a great example of the shift YA authors have made toward caring more about reading accessibility. I can't imagine an educator reaching out to me wanting to get more kids into reading and responding to them like that. And yeah, it's just a terrible take that graphic novels are reading. I mean, she has to be pretty old by now, right? So it's like, you know, old white woman going old white woman. Like what she, oh, Curtis, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, Curtis. Ooh. It's like you see it, it's like, are you surprised? You wish you were, you know, like I wish I was surprised, but it's just really sad. And it was just funny that she says, it's Outsiders the first book many people read in their life, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't read till middle school, so I think that's a little weird. It'd be different if she was talking about Clifford the Big Red Dog, but The Outsiders being a first book, like, girl, I'm looking at so many books on my shelves that I read way before that. The Outsiders, The Babysitter's Club, Ramona and Beezus, Nancy Drew. It's not the first book many people read, like. Maybe she forgot what she wrote. I don't know, but of course that was a big thing across Twitter, and it was just a garbage take. And then of course someone added on to that about audiobooks, and it's like, here comes this conversation again. The audiobooks aren't reading, and they are, okay? That's it. If you're reading, whether that is a graphic novel, a comic book, a manga, a book, a chapter book, a picture book, an audiobook, it's reading. I mean, I don't know why the conversation keeps coming up. Those people just must be really bored, but that's it. That's all. Period.
Nothing else to say, like, period.
And moving on. So I was going through my screenshots and I saw this, and it's not really a tea. I just wanted to bring it up because I saw the tweet from the account that is hosting Indigathon. They said, hey friends, we are overjoyed to see that you're all forming your TBRs and lists. However, we were made aware of a situation where another creator has been asked to provide a ridiculous amount of emotional labor for Indigathon with no compensation or common courtesy. Google is free. And so I found the tweet, and it said, if we are not friends, please do not DM and ask me to curate a TBR for you for Indigathon based on your specific literary preferences, especially if you have no plans to compensate me for my time and knowledge. Some of y'all are bold. And then they said the person has apologized and everything's cool. I never mind giving recommendations to friends and mutuals, but if our very first interaction is you asking for my time and effort, I'm gonna say no. Yes, like that's a hot mess. What are you gonna be like? Okay, here's what I'd like to read, and can you tell me what books by Indigenous authors would be perfect for this readathon? Like, even if I had talked to you before, I feel like that's bold to ask, unless you were like my friend. So just an FYI, don't do that. Don't do that to Black creators. I know a lot of people experienced that recently with, you know, after everything started happening with Black Lives Matter, and reaching out to Black creators and asking like, what books by Black authors should I read? Like, yes, Google is free. You can search on YouTube, you can search on Goodreads. Like, I am not your encyclopedia, your directory. Don't do that to any kind of, you know, marginalized group of people. Don't go in their DMs and ask them to curate something for you. I mean, unless you come in with the coin, then I'm gonna think about it. I'm like, how much you offering? Okay, hold on. I'll be right back. I'll type you up a nice list and everything. I might even include the photos, just so you know. So if you're trying to come and ask me about books by Black authors, you better be coming with some money. I said Venmo and PayPal. Yes, thank you. Oh, and Navy Federal. If you got Navy Federal, I can do that too. Thank you. And so this is just a brief little thing that this happened a little earlier in the year, and they just popped back up and I saw it on Twitter. So they have a Bookstagram account, The Unread Shelf, and she started the Unread Shelf project years ago. Basically like taking stock of your shelves and looking at all the books that you have that are unread and trying to read them. So she would do challenges, like a monthly challenge, like this month, look at the book you've had the longest and read it. If you don't read it by the end of the month, you get rid of it, such and such. And of course I've participated in this in the past and always been unsuccessful. But her account has grown over the years, and I guess she started, you know, working with publishers or receiving arcs and stuff from publishers. So she came up with this thing, like a course on working with publishers, and I think originally it was like 90 something dollars. And Bookstagram was pissed. They were like, are you kidding me? Like, so many people, and so many people I followed who have connections with publishers, who receive ARCs, who request them, have written blogs or done threads on Twitter or put up a highlight on their Instagram about how they do it, like giving you tips on how to write it, what you should do, what you shouldn't do, etc., for free. And so people are like, are you kidding that you are going to basically do the same thing but charge people as this formal course? And yeah, it blew up, and she ended up like deactivating her profile, I think. I don't follow her. I stopped following her a while ago, but you know, I had to go check when there's tea popping, and was off of Bookstagram for a while. And then I saw someone on Twitter post this, you know, like, oh, she's back. So I guess she came back to Bookstagram, and this is on her website. It's not on Instagram, and brought the program back, but now it's $47. And it says partners with publishers, self-paced. Ooh, self-paced. Learn how to build meaningful partnerships with publishers on Bookstagram through confidently requesting books from publishers, writing authentic book reviews, and creating engaging content on Instagram. This is a self-paced course. And so you can buy it for $47 or you can get a free preview. So yeah, how do you feel about that? Because like I said, there are tons of people who give this information away for free. I respect the hustle, trying to make that coin. I get it, but it's just weird why would I pay for this when I could go Google this stuff and bring up stuff on all these different websites for free, you know? So I don't know. What do you think of that? You know, just wanted to throw that in there. I want to talk about the Times Best Fantasy list. So this week, Time Magazine released a list that says the 100 best fantasy books of all time. I know I could have made a separate video doing this ranking, but everybody is, so I'm just including it in this video. So, okay, so it said how we created this list. So to develop our list, we began in 2019 by recruiting a panel of leading fantasy authors: Tomi Adeyemi, Cassandra Clare, Diana Gabaldon, Neil Gaiman, Marlon James, N.K. Jemisin, George R.R. Martin, and Sabaa Tahir to join Time staff in nominating the top books of the genre. Panelists did not nominate their own works. Side note, why is George always doing something besides writing Winds of Winter? This is ridiculous. He's always blurbing somebody's book at some damn panel or something instead of writing his books. It makes me mad. Back to this. This says the group then rated 250 nominees on a scale, and using their responses, Time created a ranking. Finally, Time editors considered each finalist based on key factors, including originality, ambition, artistry, critical and popular reception, and influence on the fantasy genre and literature more broadly. So I just want you to keep in mind that they considered critical and popular reception. I just want to leave that there. But that's how they created this list. So some of them, and I have not read most of them, okay? There's 100, and I don't know why they chose 100, but they did. And there's some older ones like Arabian Nights, Alice, Adventures in Wonderland, obviously. There's Mary Poppins, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, one of my favorites by C.S. Lewis. One of my most reread books. I love that book. There's another, The Voyage of the Dawn Treader by C.S. Lewis, of course, The Fellowship of the Ring, Two Towers, and The Return of the King by J.R.R. Tolkien. And there's James and the Giant Peach by Roald Dahl. I love that book. Also, A Wrinkle in Time. I love that book by Madeleine L'Engle, if I'm saying that right. And yeah, it just keeps going. And I think these are in order of publishing. So A Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. Watership Down by Richard Adams. I haven't read that one. The Princess Bride by William Goldman. A Swiftly Tilting Planet by Madeleine L'Engle. The BFG by Roald Dahl. And so I'm seeing some of these. Howl's Moving Castle by Diana Wynne Jones. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Like, I've heard of these. The Eye of the World by Robert Jordan. Good Omens, Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Like, a lot of these make sense. Now we get to Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. And I'm confusion. I read Outlander and I enjoyed it. But for 100 best fantasy books of all time, I don't feel like Outlander fits. Like, to me, it's primarily a historical romance with a fantastical element. And so just for it to be on best fantasy books of all time seems strange. But then there's The Golden Compass and The Subtle Knife by Philip Pullman, which are the first 2 books in his Dark Materials, and I did enjoy that series. Neverwhere by Neil Gaiman. Harry Potter is here, of course. Well, that's Prisoner of Azkaban and Half-Blood Prince. Then there's George R. R. Martin, A Sword of Swords, American Gods by Neil Gaiman, Mistborn, hey, Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, can't comment, City of Glass by Cassandra Clare. I only read the first 3 books in that series, but 100 Best Fantasy Books of All Time. The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. I haven't read that yet, but I want to. Akata Witch by Nnedi Okorafor. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. Angel Fall by Susan E. Some of these I'm questioning. I have questions. And Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. Obviously, I cannot comment, but that's exciting. The 5th Season by N.K. Jemisin. Okay. 6 of Crows by Lee Bardugo. I Ain't Mad. The Wrath and the Dawn by Renee Audier. I did not like that one. A Torch Against the Night by Saba Tahir is on here. And then there's Beast Made of Night by Tochi Onyebuchi, which I have heard conflicting reviews about that book. So when it says critical and popular acclaim or reception, whatever it said, I'm okay. The Changeling by Victor LaValle. I haven't read that. Jade City by Fonda Lee. I have heard so much about this one recently. I'm definitely reading it next year. The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin, which I need to read. Aru Shah and End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. Or Blanca and Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. That's interesting. Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. I mean, I can understand why that one's on there, but The Poppy War by Ara Kwong. Cersei by Madeline. I don't know. I haven't read any of these. Trail of Lightning by Rebecca Roanhorse. I've heard great things about that. Now, see, I got questions. Black Leopard, Red Wolf by Marlon James. I have seen so many people who have read this book who love adult fantasy who are like, this ain't it. So I'm just wondering. And then Children of Virtue and Vengeance. Even people who love Children of Blood and Bone. A lot of people did not like Children of Virtue and Vengeance. For this to be on the top 100 best fantasies of all time? They got The Dragon Republic by R.F. Kuang, which I haven't read, but no doubt. Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. I have heard that is great. A book. We got Pet by Akweke Emezi. The Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. Also, I have this audiobook. I haven't listened to it yet, and I've seen more people talking about it recently, but again, I have gotten mixed reviews. We Hunt the Flame by Hafsa Faisal. Woven in Moonlight by Isabel Ibanez. So it's weird to make a list and have so many new releases on it. I don't know if you can get to that kind of acclaim that quickly. I don't know. How do you guys feel about the list? I obviously just went through it and talked about ones that I had heard of or read. And some of them make sense, but I don't know why they chose 100, and I just don't feel like this list is complete. And I can tell you one reason why is because the City of Brass isn't on that list. How do you have Children of Virtue and Vengeance? How do you have like books that came out like last year or this year on this list, last year, 2019 on this list, and you don't have the City of Brass? What? Suspect. I'm sorry. I'm also surprised that they put Mistborn on there and not The Way of Kings, because so many people say that The Way of Kings is like up here compared to Mistborn. So that's also interesting. But where is the City of Brass? Where is it? I have questions. I'm very upset about it. Let me look at my shelves. Anything else? I'm shooketh. I'm honestly upset. I'm mad about it. I The panel sounds qualified, but I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. The 100 best fantasy books of all time. That's a steep title. And that I haven't heard of some of these. I'm like, not like I have heard of everything, but the more recent ones, I'm like, come on. Anyway, that's it for me this week. I don't know if I missed anything. I probably did. There's probably something happening right now, but I had to get this filmed. I'm hungry, okay? And I'm annoyed at this list. How do you leave out the city of brass? Shannon was hoodwinked and bamboozled. It's upsetting. It's upsetting me and my homegirls. Or me and my home plants. Zelda's over there. You can't see her. And Curtis, he is not happy. He loves the city of brass. I read it out loud to him. I didn't. Anyway, so of course, per usual, if I missed anything, let me know. If I misinterpreted anything, got something wrong, definitely let me know in the comments below. Always check out my description box. There's links to things, my social media, to voting, to issues that are going on in America and around the world. I have started a Deadly Education. I'm about 30% through, so hopefully I can finish that in the next couple days and have a video up for it on Saturday talking about it, since it is a book of a hot topic right now. And that's kind of it. So I hope you're taking care of yourself, still wearing your mask and trying to keep distant and not going to weddings and parties and stuff. And washing your mask, washing your hands, staying moisturized, hydrated, and wearing sunscreen, and just taking care of yourself. I hope you're reading good books, and I appreciate you for watching this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you liked it. Please subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye! What have people been saying? Have they been reading? They've been spilling the tea? They've been spilling the tea? What have they been saying? What happened this week? What happened? You don't want to tell nobody? Oh, that's stingy, Nigel. It's very stingy of you. That's not nice. You're supposed to tell the people what's poppin'. You're not a very good news host. I'm gonna have to fire you. You ain't doing your job. All right, it's your last chance. What you gonna say? Hello. Tell them to have a good day. All right, you're fired.